Did you know the Caribbean had far more slave revolts than the United States? But they rarely make the history books. From Jamaica to Haiti to Barbados, enslaved Africans refused to accept chains. They planned. They rose up. They burned plantations to the ground. These weren't small rebellions. They were wars. Jamaica alone had over a dozen major uprisings, including Tacky's War and the Baptist War. Haiti's revolt became a full-blown revolution. Barbados had Busa. Trinidad had the Mandingo Rebellion. Grenada, Dominica, St. Lucia, all saw fire. So why don't we hear about them? Because resistance doesn't fit the narrative of obedience. Because uprisings challenge the myth that slavery was passively endured. The truth? The Caribbean was the front line of black resistance, and every revolt chipped away at the colonial lie that the oppressed were powerless. We weren't waiting to be saved. We were already fighting.
1763. Location, Berbice of Guyana. Leader, Coffee or Cuffy. Significance. Enslaved Africans took control of much of the colony for over a year, declared Coffee as governor of the territory. Eventually crushed by the Dutch, but it shook colonial confidence. 4. The Barbados Busa Rebellion, 1816. Location, Barbados. Leader, Busa, an African-born enslaved man. Significance, a large-scale rebellion with thousands involved. Though suppressed, it revealed deep resistance among enslaved Barbadians. Helped build momentum for abolition in the British Empire. 5. The Demerara Revolt, 1823. Location, Demerara, modern-day Guyana. Leader, Jack Gladstone, son of Kwamina, a deacon. Significance, one of the largest slave revolts in British colonies. Over 10,000 enslaved people participated. Although brutally suppressed, it stirred abolitionist sentiment in Britain. 6. The Baptist War, Christmas Rebellion, 1831 to 1832. Location, Jamaica. Leader, Samuel Sharp, a Baptist deacon. Significance, a massive uprising involving over 60,000 enslaved people. It took place right before British emancipation. Its suppression cost hundreds of lives. Sharp was executed, but became a national hero. 7. The Curaçao Slave Revolt, 1795. Curaçao, Dutch West Indies. Leader, Tula. Significance, a well-organized rebellion against Dutch rule. Tula demanded freedom, equal treatment, and abolition. The rebellion was crushed, but Tula is now seen as a symbol of resistance. 8. St. John Slave Insurrection, 1733. Location, St. John, Danish West Indies, now U.S. Virgin Islands. Leaders, Akwamu Africans. Significance, enslaved Akwamu warriors seized the island and held it for months. One of the earliest large revolts in the Caribbean, eventually defeated by French and Swiss troops. 9. Grenada Fedon Rebellion, 1795 to 1796. Location, Grenada. Leader, Julian Fedon, a free man of mixed African descent. Significance, though led by a free man, it aimed to abolish slavery, supported by both free blacks and enslaved people. Inspired by the French Revolution, nearly toppled British rule in Grenada. 10. Antigua Conspiracy, 1736. Location, King Court. Significance, a well-planned but foiled conspiracy. Enslaved Africans plotted to massacre the island's white population. Many were executed when the plan was uncovered. Why these rebellions matter? They showed that enslaved people were not passive victims. They actively fought for their freedom. Many uprisings influenced laws, hastened emancipation, and shaped Caribbean societies. These acts of resistance laid the groundwork for national independence movements throughout the Caribbean.